Welcome, everyone. My name is Ben Bird. I'm the School District Foundation Chairman. Appreciate everybody being here tonight. I would appreciate it if everybody would please rise at this time for the presentation of our national, state, and school district colors. The Central Heights Junior ROTC is providing your color guard for this evening, and it consists of Cadet Major Chris Wilson, Cadet First Lieutenant Aaron Bloom, Cadet Staff Sergeant Olivia Graves, Cadet Sergeant Emery Graves, and when the colors are posted, our reigning Teacher of the Year, Ryan Van Dyke, will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. And I would ask that everyone remain standing until the colors have exited the room, please.
Colors, hold. Left, edge. One step forward, march. Reset. Colors.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Here we read. Colors. Right. Edge. Forward. March.
I'd like to thank again the Central High School Color Guard for their presentation. Thanks for everyone in the room for coming. The School District Foundation is pleased to host this special event honoring hopefully everyone in the room who represents representatives of the school district staff. I want to thank publicly all of our generous supporters that are listed in the program. Without their support, we wouldn't have this program. And you may have heard me say this before, but the net revenue of this evening the foundation uses in our Appleseed program, the grants that we provide to various teachers within the district, without which those programs wouldn't occur. So your money is put to good use. So thanks all of you for your attendance tonight and the money that you spent to be here. We've got a few guests that I'd like to honor real quickly that are here for us tonight, beginning with our members of our school board, Seth Wright, Cappy Hodges, Lori Prusman, Tammy Pasley, and Dr. Brian Green. Also in attendance is our superintendent, Dr. Robert Newhart, as well as members of our School District Foundation Board, including Bobby Kronk, Jennifer Kindle, Kevin Kirby, Todd Meyerhofer, Natalie Redmond, Greg Roberts, Rob Sampson, Lee Sawyer, Stacia Studer, Steve Smith, and our reigning Teacher of the Year, Ryan Van Dyke. I'm also honored to recognize our mayor, Bill McMurray, who's with us tonight, our sheriff, Bill Pewitt, Natalie Redmond, also in her capacity as a member of the employee of the Chamber of Commerce. In addition, we have two county commissioners here, Western District Commissioner Ron Hook and Eastern District Commissioner Scott Burnham, as well as our former mayor, Bill Faulkner, and former city council member, Donna Jean Boyer, as well as Circuit Judge Melissa Lawyer. I'd also like to recognize some St. Joseph School resource officers that are in attendance with us tonight. They help provide a safe learning environment in our schools. They help provide valuable resources to our school staff, help to develop strategies to resolve problems affecting students, and most importantly, to help increase the feelings of safety and security in our schools. So I would ask these gentlemen to please rise so we can publicly recognize them. Sergeant James Langston, Officer Devin Kalnauer, Officer Gary Hickok, Officer Ken Schroeder, and Officer Joe Herrera. Thanks to you gentlemen and others who aren't here that help keep our schools safe and secure. We really appreciate it. Finally, most importantly, we want to recognize the reason why we're here, which is all the members and their families here as representatives of the St. Joseph School District. This is your event, so let's have a good time. We really appreciate that you're here. Before we eat real quick, I'll ask Reverend Roger Lenander, the pastor at the First Lutheran Church, to lead us in our invocation, please. And then we'll eat before we have our speaker. So thank you.
Let us pray. Almighty God, we give you thanks as we gather here together tonight, and that is to lift up and to celebrate those who teach and educate in our community. We give you thanks, God, for we are stewards of your creation, and as our educators prepare and welcome our students each and every year, it is to go and to take them on a journey and an adventure, and that is to discover your creation. To go and to discover the wonders of it and how it is that they also are stewards and caretakers of that. But also equipping them for leadership in our homes, leadership in our neighborhoods, in our communities, in our nation, and in the world. We give you thanks for preparing them to enter into commerce and to pursue fields of their choice. We give you thanks for teachers who have prepared themselves and continue to do so on an ongoing basis, and that is to grow in their wisdom and understanding, and so to impart that onto their students each and every year. We give you thanks for the support that our school district gives not only to the students but also to their families, and to all in our community, for we are all strengthened by the work of the educators in our community. We give you thanks for the leaders and administrators we give you, and for the wisdom and discernment that you give to them each and every day to use wisely the resources that are provided for us. And tonight we gather to give you thanks for those who have achieved milestones and benchmarks in their lives, for those in which we want to honor here for the gifts that they bring to this community. And we give thanks for those who leave a legacy and a gift, and that is to strengthen not only education that we give to our students today, but for the future. And we ask, God, that you would continue to strengthen us, to give us courage, and to give us faith for that which you have laid before us. And at the end of the day, may we celebrate and be at peace, for we leave it in your hands. For it is in your name that we pray. Amen.
Feel free to continue eating. We're going to carry on with the evening's events. I have the honor and privilege of introducing Central High School's 1956 most popular girl. In the yearbook, she was top 6 in her class. She was secretary of the student body and the girl with, quote, personality plus. She received her Bachelor's of Science from Kansas University and her Master of Arts degree from the University of Missouri. From these beginnings at Central High School, she's acquired many honors and numerous accomplishments. Just to name a few, she is a distinguished professor for public leadership at Park University. She was a fellow at the Dole Institute of Politics. She was a candidate for U.S. Congress. In my opinion, maybe her most noteworthy accomplishment, she was the first woman mayor of Kansas City from 1999 to 2007. Before that, she was the 4th District at-Large Representative to the City Council of Kansas City, also the 4th District at-Large Representative on the Jackson County Legislature. She has taught at MU, KU, Park, and Central Michigan University through their graduate program. She's co-hosted and produced a talk show called Let's Talk on multicultural issues. She's co-authored a book called About Time, A Woman's Guide to Time Management. She's co-founded the Metropolitan Commission on the Status of Women. She collaborated with the Missouri General Assembly to bring $350 million in state funding and $150 million in federal funding to various Kansas City, Missouri projects. many of which were related to the revitalization of downtown Kansas City and the Power Light District that we all enjoy. She's currently president of K. Waldo, Inc. She's a nationally recognized consultant and trainer who has developed a unique foundation of learning and experience in education, human resources, and organizational development. She has over 25 years of experience in professional and volunteer experience, interfacing among political, governmental, corporate, and not-for-profit sectors in various communities to initiate and to facilitate positive change. Again, I'm very privileged and thankful that K. Waldo Barnes is here to speak to us tonight. Thank you.
Is that picture going to be up there the whole time? Have I changed? I think so. I hope so. It's great to be here with all of you. It's really an honor for me to be in my hometown and have the opportunity to speak to you, particularly to the educators in this room, because your predecessors have been such an important part of both my personal and professional lives. In terms of my own education in growing up in St. Joseph, I attended Sherwood Grade School, Bliss Junior High, and Central High School, and I have great memories of skilled and dedicated teachers and administrators really who awakened and fed my love of learning. I also grew up in a family of educators. So my mother, Helen Cronkite, was a career teacher at Washington Grade School and Central. My father, Fritz Cronkite, was a basketball, football, and track coach at Central. And my aunt, Dorothy Cronkite, was principal at Eugene Field. So I literally grew up as an only child in Sunday afternoon gatherings of my extended family, and 90% of the conversations were about school-related issues, challenges, opportunities, and so on. So I really have a deep, lifelong appreciation for all that you do in this school district, and also for all of the people here who may not be educators themselves, but support what you do. So my thanks to all of you. So it probably is no surprise that in my own academic career beyond high school, I graduated from KU with a degree in secondary education, and then about a decade later did get a master's in secondary education at UMKC. And although I only taught in the classroom 1 year, I focused on adult education through all of those subsequent decades. The focus has continued to be rewarding for me because, again, it allows me to be part of the larger world of education. However, you and I also know the current challenges in education which abound, such as inadequate salary structures, constantly evolving technologies, and unrealistic expectations of what teachers can provide to individual students who often live in dire circumstances outside of the classroom. So, are there answers to these and other challenges? And if so, what are they? I'd like to suggest 4 approaches to today's world of educational problems and opportunities. One is to be open to change. Another, be willing to take risks. The third, practice hope. And last, remember to celebrate. The first approach is to be open to change. It's an interesting topic We all talk about, we hear about, we read about the importance of being open to change. And certainly as we reflect on where we've been and we plan for the changes for tomorrow, I'd like you to consider what would be a really radical change. What if we lived life backwards? As one author suggests, the life cycle is all backward. You should die first and get it out of the way. Then you live for 20 years in an old age home and get kicked out when you're too young. You get a gold watch and then you go to work. You work 40 years until you're young enough to enjoy your retirement. You go to college and you party until you're ready for high school. Then you go to grade school, you become a little kid, you play, you have no responsibilities, you become a little baby, you go back into the womb, you spend your last 9 months floating, and you finish off as a gleam in somebody's eye. So what a change that would be. And yet it's a captivating image and reminds us of the innate vitality we do experience in ourselves and in others. But what a change it would be. You know as I do that life is all about change in our personal lives and professionally. We never stop changing. In fact, we never stop growing up. A woman went into her son's bedroom and said, "Come on now, it's time to get up. It's time to go to school." Her son pulled the covers over his head and groaned, I won't go. I hate school." Mother said, "You have to go. It's important." He stuck his head out from under the covers and said, "Yeah, just give me 2 important reasons for going to school." Mother's reply was, "First, you're 42 years old. Second, you're the principal." So, you and I are living in a time of accelerated change, hopefully continuing to grow up. So, recognize the change and embrace it. The second approach to heightened success as an educator is to be willing to take risks. You know, as I do, to accomplish anything, risks need to be taken. You've taken a lot of risks already in your lives, and you'll take even more, as I will, in the days and years ahead. It's easy to run from risk. We all search for security in our lives, and yet that may be a basic misperception. Consider this. Helen Keller had some interesting thoughts about security, and she certainly had an unusual perspective. Could not see, could not hear. And yet, Helen Keller communicated that, quote, "Security is mostly a superstition. It does not exist in nature, nor do humans as a whole experience it. Avoiding danger is no safer in the long run than outright exposure. Life is either a daring adventure or nothing." And certainly, being an educator is a daring adventure. As John Kennedy stated, there is an old saying that the course of civilization is a race between catastrophe and education. In a democracy such as ours, he continued, we must make sure that education wins the race. So each of us must ask the question, can I say yes to what one writer tells us: every child deserves a champion, an adult who will never give up on them, who understands the power of connection and insists that they become the best they can possibly be. The third approach, elevating our role as educators, is to practice hope. Yes, the problems are real, the challenges are daunting, and yet if we have hope, we are choosing, and it is a choice, to believe that the glass is half full. And so it is for everything we face in our lives. Is what we may face in the classroom an insurmountable problem, or is it rather a formidable challenge? There is a difference. In his classic work, Teilhard de Chardin, in The Phenomenon of Man, stated, between these two alternatives of absolute optimism or absolute pessimism, there is no middle way, because by its very nature, progress is all or nothing. We are confronted accordingly, he said, with two directions, and only two, one upwards and the other downwards. And there is no possibility of finding a halfway house. So think about practicing hope as the recognition of possibility. The recognition of possibility. And how do we practice it? It's great to think it, but are there actual approaches we can use? Mahatma Gandhi, in really simple words and yet profound words, tells us, first, keep your thoughts positive, because your thoughts become your words. Keep your words positive, because your words become your behavior. Keep your behavior positive, because your behavior becomes your habits. Keep your habits positive, because your habits become your values. Keep your values positive, because your values become your destiny. And finally, the last approach I'm suggesting to successfully navigate the challenges faced as educators is to remember to celebrate. To know how to celebrate in the here and now, with an eye to the future, having reflected on the past, but still living in the moment. Easy to say, tough to do. Being totally present to others in conversation. Being totally present to events and life experiences as they are happening right now. Every one of us in this room is enormously blessed. We each have talents, knowledge, energy, and gifts to use. Let's use them well. There's truly a lot to celebrate. I want to close with that message in a prophecy from the elders of the Hopi Nation. It was addressed to my fellow swimmers. Here is a river flowing now very fast. It is so great and swift that there are those who will be afraid, who will try to hold on to the shore. They are being torn apart and will suffer greatly. Know that the river has its destination. The elders say we must let go of the shore, push off into the middle of the river, and keep our heads above water. And I say, see who is there with you and celebrate. At this time in history, we are to take nothing personally, least of all ourselves. For the moment we do, our spiritual growth and journey come to a halt. The time of the lone wolf is over. Gather yourselves, banish the word struggle from your attitude and vocabulary. All that we do now must be done in a sacred manner and in celebration. For we are the ones we have been waiting for. Thank you.
Thanks again, Mayor Barnes. We really appreciate it. I know your busy calendar is still maintained, so we're very, very honored that you would join us this evening. Thank you. I wanted to take a moment to recognize someone who's dedicated their life to helping students across many platforms, in the classroom, in the gym, on the football field, and at the ballpark. Dr. Robert Newhart took the lead at the St. Joseph School District 3 years ago, accepting a position that he knew would be both challenging and rewarding. A lot of difficult decisions were made during his time with the district, but he also helped to navigate the culture to bring about positive change in many areas. Now, as he prepares for the next chapter in his life, we want to recognize the passion and dedication that Dr. Newhart has showed us during his time in St. Joseph. A passion for rebuilding trust, a passion for transparency, and most importantly, a passion for students and the families that he has served. And personally, he had to have had a lot of courage and fortitude to even apply for the position. So my hats are off to you. Dr. Newhart, if you would please come forward to accept this certificate, or actually this token of appreciation. We'd like to recognize you. If you would please come forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very humbling. When I took this position 3 years ago, boy, did I not truly realize what I was getting into. Had an idea, but until you go through it and experience it, I don't know if anything could prepare you for it. We've made a lot of great headway, and that's the thing I want you to remember. There's not a day that goes by, particularly in the downtown office, that I do not remind them constantly to ask questions and trust the process. You cannot become lackadaisical or oblivion to what is happening around you, not only in education, but also in the city and in government. For a democracy to be successful, this is my mother coming out in me. Is Chris Larson here? For a democracy to be successful, you cannot be apathetic, nor can you expect the favoritism or the entitlement that many people believe comes with it. We're here for a reason. This isn't about me, this isn't about you, it's about the students. It's not only about the students today, it's about the students tomorrow. And we have to remember that in education today. Again, I appreciate it. It's been a very quick 3 years, but you're primed, you are primed in this community to have great things happen. And I truly believe that. Good luck, and I wish you the best. Thank you.
At this time, some school district representatives, including Dr. Marley Williams, Bridget Blevins, and potentially some others, will come forward to recognize our retirees.
Good evening. It is my honor this evening to recognize all of our retirees for the St. Joseph School District. There's a complete list in your program that I will be reading from. However, not all of the retirees were able to join us this evening, but we do thank everyone here and not here for their service to the St. Joseph School District and the students. The retirees being recognized tonight include Jill Bailey, and please come forward if you are here to receive your plaque. Linda Baldwin, Marianne Bellman, Susan Campbell, Chris Chamberlain, Denise Kohlauer, Deborah Consalver, Carolyn Cooper, Leanne Davis, Gwendolyn Davis, Virginia Dunbar, Jamie Evans, Mary Furbert, Tammy Hale, Jeannie Hambrick, Mary Harless, Tracy Hicks, Jacqueline Holsey, Debbie King, Donna Klein, Paul Kuntz, Christy Lorenz, Kristen Matthews, Meredith McDonald, Myung McDowell, Michael Mears, Matt Meinert, Dennis Merritt, Don Miller, Carla Miller, the stage is getting crowded. Janet Moody. Charles Palmer. Becky Pettigrew. I have to say congratulations especially to Becky and anyone else on the stage. Becky has 40 years of service. Anyone else at 40? All goes to Becky. Deborah Pinzino. Eileen Pitts. Garth Profiter. Jesse Rivera. Jean Robbins. Ann Roseberry. Diane Scott. Sharon Saylor. Rick Sharp. Deb Sherrard. Arlene Sollers. Marcia Stebe. Deborah Stevens. Joyce Storr. Ann Supple. Linda Van Dyke. You might want to take a special picture with the Teacher of the Year, her son Ryan Van Dyke. Joe Veneman. Linda Waller. Everett Weed. Kenitha Wiedmeyer. Debbie Wells. Lori West. Tekla Williamson. Janice Wing. Lori Witham. And Mike Cecil. I've just been informed via sign language that Mike Cecil has 42 years of experience. The experience you represent is irreplaceable, and we greatly appreciate and are in your debt for all that you've done for the St. Joseph School District and our students. Congratulations. been told that there are 3 other names I need to announce that were not in my program. And these are the recipients of the 30-year pin for service. Chris Silcott, Jamie Evans, and Donna Klein.
I hate to single out one single retiree, but if you ever saw Mike Zieso coach a basketball game, there was no question he had a passion for kids. Real quick, before we get into some of our named scholarships, I wanted to publicly recognize one of this foundation's primary benefactors. I believe this calendar school year will be the first full year of the Advanced Science Research Center, which literally would not have come about but for a $250,000 lead gift from Behringer Ingelheim Vetmedica, Inc. Scott Davis is here with his wife, the COO of the facility here in town, and that represented a private-public partnership that came about with some donations from others, including Buchanan County, the City of St. Joseph, Gray Manufacturing, Sertoma, Commerce Bank, and an individual by the name of Alan Lovenberg. And what Behringer has also done for the past several years is to be our lead sponsor for this dinner. In addition to that, they have funded a total amount of scholarships in the amount of $10,000 the last several years. So it's staggering when you add up all the money that Behringer has contributed to the foundation, which is in turn provided to the school district. So thanks to all those individuals, organizations, and companies, namely Behringer, for making that a reality. So I would encourage everyone in the room to look out for those opportunities. And one other thing, this is foundation related. Our board over the past couple of years has made an effort to catch up to the future, so to speak, and we've updated our website. So I would encourage everyone to take a look at that. You'll learn more about the foundation, what we do, where your money goes, who are some of the individuals involved with making some of these things a reality. And I would encourage all of you, especially in this room, when you have an opportunity to give back, think of a friend, family, loved one, teacher, someone in the district that may have had an impact on you or a family or loved one, and it's an opportunity to create a named scholarship that will go back in the classroom, literally. And also, you can make a general discretionary gift that most likely would come back in the form of the Appleseed grants that we'll talk about a little bit later. So when you have a few moments, take some time to learn more about what the foundation does and who we are. Okay, on to scholarships. Our first one is the Rabaska Scholarship. It was established in honor of Phil Rabaska, who was a dedicated coach, teacher, and administrator. These scholarships have been awarded since 1997, resulting in 83 St. Joseph School District teachers receiving assistance for postgraduate work. We're pleased to recognize and congratulate the recipients of the Rabaska Scholarship for the 2018-2019 school year, the first being Nicole Davis. Nicole teaches family and consumer sciences at Central High School. She will be attending the University of North Dakota to pursue a master's degree in K-12 counseling. Congratulations, Nicole. Second Rabaska recipient is Stephanie Hartley. Stephanie teaches language arts at Benton High School. She will be attending the University of Missouri to pursue a degree in gifted education. Congratulations, Stephanie. The next scholarship is the Ruby Kate Memorial Fund. Ruby Kate Memorial Fund was established for needy children, and it's awarded to one applicant each year. Teaching staff from elementary title schools are eligible to apply. The award was established in 2008 to honor and remember Ruby Kate Wells, the daughter of Scott and Tara Wells. Scott is an accountant at Herzog, and Tara is the elementary principal at Pershing Elementary. Ruby's life was very short, however, she had quite an impact on all who knew her. Will this year's winners of the Ruby Kate Memorial Fund please stand? Renee Weir, Trudy Ferrier, and Casey Spicer from Mark Twain Elementary. Through this award, third graders will be attending the Blue Springs School of Economics, where they will be assigned to work in a food shop, craft shop, bank, or loan department. An additional recipient of the Ruby Kate Fund this year is Jessica Molaroni. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. The Mark Twain fourth grade will attend a workshop at the Linwood Area Computer Center with Digistory Kansas City Studio. The students will learn and create stop-motion animation using modern stop-motion technology. Next is our Lori Schmitter Memorial Scholarship Award for Early Childhood Education. Lori Schmitter dedicated 10 years of service to the St. Joseph School District as a coordinator of parents as teachers. It was her desire to provide families with the best possibly prepared and educated staff at these centers. Lori dedicated her life to ensuring children ages birth to 5 enter school prepared physically, academically, socially, and emotionally. The scholarship was established for employees of the district who are currently working toward a Child Development Associate's degree. This year's recipient of the Lori Schmitter Scholarship Award is Sharon Tracy. Sharon is an early childhood paraprofessional at Coleman Elementary, and she will be renewing her CDA and MAT requirements. Congratulations, Sharon. We'll now move to our Appleseed portion of the program. Appleseed, as I probably described earlier, is the primary component of kind of our day-to-day work as a foundation. We use discretionary gifts, and then we use the money from this dinner, as I mentioned previously, to recognize and award grants to teachers and staff throughout the district. They apply for these grants. It's a pretty competitive process. And they represent things that the district can't afford on its own. So without this money, these ambitious teachers who go the extra mile to provide these services through these programs wouldn't happen. So it's literally critical that you're here tonight. And a major benefactor of this program, especially in the last few years, is American Family Insurance. If you were to tally the total amount of donations over the last 3 years, we're nearing $100,000. It's very humbling, and we can't thank American Family enough. The grants are awarded district-wide in elementary, middle, and all the high schools, and the students and their education are important, obviously, to making our community strong. So we're committed to keeping our Appleseed programs as strong as it can be, and we're, again, very thankful that American Family continues to support it as strongly as it does. And we hope others will continue to partner with us with our Appleseed grants. The selection committee, who I'd like to honor real quickly for this year in awarding the grants, included Bobby Cronk, who runs our program, Dr. Solon Haynes, Lee Sawyer, Greg Roberts, Dr. Amanda Faye Moore, Ryan Van Dyke, our reigning teacher of the year, and Stacia Studer, a past teacher of the year, excuse me. At this time, I'd like to bring to the podium Rondell Dunn of American Family, and he will announce this year's winners. Thanks, Rondell.
All right, good evening. Again, thank you very much. My name is Rondell Dunn, and I am absolutely thrilled to be here on behalf of American Family to present the Appleseed and American Family Grants and Volunteer of the Year Awards. One of the pillars of American Family and what we feel is our value proposition is the fact that we have agency owners such as Rod Sampson and others in our local community to have an impact. Whether it's volunteering for a charity, donating, sponsoring a Little League team, or being there at the time of need due to an unfortunate event, our agency owners are there. So to support our agency owners and the wonderful work that they do in our community here in St. Joseph, we have these grants, and we are absolutely thrilled to continue this tradition. Moving forward in the 2018 and 2019 school year, we're going to continue our another $30,000 investment in this community. As a husband to a former educator, I am absolutely indebted to the wonderful work our educators and our administrators do for us. So let's give them one more round of applause. The Appleseed and American Family Grants are a proven method of improving children's test scores and their wonder of learning. This funding bridges the gap between what's available and what's needed. These grants give financially in need students equal opportunities to experience the things outside the classroom that their families or the school district may not be able to afford. With these grants, teachers are able to tailor activities for their students' interests. This motivates each student to learn through his or her passion. Out of 43 applications, 17 were funded with the amounts ranging from $250 up to $6,914. When I read your name, would you please stand if you're here tonight and remain standing until all the names are called. Would the audience please hold your applause until the last names are read. Now there's one rule tonight. Please don't laugh if I get your name wrong. There's at least 3 names on here I've been practicing that I may get wrong. So if you've been on this podium, on this stage, you know the position I'm in. So, all right, so first is Jill Breyerbaum, Eugene Field, Social Emotional Success for All. Annie Bromlock, Eugene Field, Mindfulness Meetings. Valerie Fisher, Webster's Introduction to Theater. Kelly Funk, Webster, Possibilities Within Our Reach. Lori Jones and Tara Wells, Pershing, Green Screen. Misty Kickler, Lake Contrary, Drumming Up Success with Project-Based Learning. Sharon Lemert and Christy Safely, Eugene Field, Catapulting into Coding. Carrie Leslie, Oak Grove, Speech, Phonology, Therapy Totes for Preschool. Millie Montemiro and Brandy Kralskint. Bailey Needle, Mark Twain Mindstormers. Joni Owens, Eugene Field, please don't forget to Maker Space for Me. Jackie Rother, Tish Thomas, Donna Barman, James Wright. Carden Park, Can You Hear Me Now? Ida Russell, Webster, Do You Have What It Takes to Escape? Tess Miller, Swider. Hosea, Buzzing About Learning. Douglas Snyder, Rubadoo, Harry S. Truman Library. Wes Steffens, Lafayette, Improving Students' Performance. Danielle Wachtel, Pershing, Teaching Kinders to Code with Bebots. And Deb Weir, Carden Park, It's All About the Math. Let's give them a wonderful round of applause. And again, I apologize if I mispronunciated your name. If my wife was here, she would be elbowing me right now. So congratulations. So now I get the awesome opportunity to announce the Volunteer of the Year Award recipient. So America has a long and proud tradition of volunteer service. Now more than ever, volunteers are renewing their commitment to helping others and making new connections that bring us closer as families, as neighbors, and as communities. President George H.W. Bush devoted attention to voluntary service as a means of solving some of America's most serious and social problems. President Bush said, and I quote, "Points of lights are the soul of America. They are ordinary people who reach beyond themselves to touch the lives of those in need, serving some higher purpose than themselves, bringing hope and opportunity, care, and friendship. By giving so generously of themselves, these remarkable individuals show us not only what is best in our heritage, but what all of us are called to become." The selection committee for the 2017 and 2018 American Family Insurance Award are Rod Sampson, Denise Collier, Jody Blumker, Leslie Lochpick, and Mike Buckler. Let's give them a big round of applause. And a big drum roll, in case you didn't see on the screen or in the program. The Volunteer of the Year, and I got her name right, and it is phonetically on my piece of paper, but when I say it, it is correct. It is Heather Ganya. And she's here tonight with her husband, Chris, and tonight they are celebrating their 9th year wedding anniversary, so let's give them a big round of applause. Congratulations to all of our wonderful volunteers, and a special congratulations to you, Heather. Heather is the hospitality chair at Scaife Elementary School. She goes above and beyond to make all of the gift purchases for her staff's major life events and Staff Appreciation Week. She volunteered to be the 3rd vice president in charge of fundraisers, which involves hours and hours and hours of sorting and counting all of the products. Heather exemplifies what a great volunteer should be. So thank you again. In addition to the over $100,000 that American Family has contributed to this community, we are going to also award $500 to the program that you participate in. And there's also a monetary award for you personally as well that we're going to contribute. Thank you guys very much. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Rondell. Thank you, American Family. Thank you, Rod Sampson, who's part of our board. I just remembered a couple years ago we had it wasn't a shortfall, but the local agents stepped up and paid for the volunteer award on their own, thanks to Rod's involvement. So the generosity of American Family extends beyond the mothership, so to speak. The local agencies in this community have demonstrated that same generosity. So thanks to those group of agents again for that award a couple years ago. On to support staff. Another stalwart in supporting the foundation and local school district is Hy-Vee. Mike Bash, the manager of Hy-Vee, is here tonight. The school support staff include a variety of staff members who provide specialized instruction as well as support to students while they utilize school facilities. They play an important role in ensuring students are learning in a safe and supportive learning environment. They foster positive and trusting relationships with students and improve the school climate by encouraging parent and family involvement. Because students connect with school support staff on many occasions throughout the day, they play a critical role in all of our schools. Hy-Vee is a proud supporter and has been for many years of our Support Person of the Year. Hy-Vee's mission statement is making lives easier, healthier, happier. It is a company known for excellent service and reasonable prices. As an employee-owned company, Hy-Vee encourages each of its more than 82,000 employees to help guide the company. Its 85 years of outstanding success is a testament to those employees' hard work and dedication to the vision of its founders. Today, Hy-Vee is synonymous with quality, variety, value, and superior customer service. Its slogan, "A helpful smile in every aisle," expresses the foundation of the company's operating philosophy. Again, here's Mike Bash, our local manager, to present the Support Person of the Year. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Ben. Good evening. The selection committee for the 2018-2019 Support Person of the Year are Dr. Barry Johnson, Robert Diaz, Michelle Mace, John Davison, Chris Silcott, Linda Peters, and Danita Swafford. Would this year's semifinalists please stand as I read your names? Kelly Bristol. Kelly is a social worker at Truman and Bodie Middle School. She is responsible for meeting the social, emotional, and physical well-being of students. She assesses the needs of students, which can be food, clothing, counseling, hospitalization, or medication management. Kelly's day is spent problem-solving and working with students to find solutions to situations they do not have the ability to solve themselves. This includes a vast amount of crisis intervention that includes being evicted from a home and not having a place to stay, loss of a loved one, or suicidal thoughts. So thank you, Kelly. Our next individual is Jennifer Culver. Jennifer is the Family Involvement Coordinator at Carden Park Elementary. She wears many hats besides her responsibility as the FIC. Jennifer assists with lunch and dismissal duties, covers classroom responsible for backpack buddies, VEST, and Family in Transition Program and School Business Partners. Jennifer works with business partners and coordinates services between Carden Park and Community Resources. She feels she is truly blessed to work with an awesome staff and an amazing supportive principal, Lacey Adams. Jennifer believes she is living her purpose in life and is making a difference in the lives of students and their families. Thank you. Our next individual is Angie Hernandez. Angie is a family involvement coordinator at Edison Elementary School. She oversees families in transition and has the opportunity to create a trusting bond with them. Angie assists the nurse, after-school activities, character kids, flips, and newsletters. She has organized kids in the kitchen classes and helps them utilize the community garden and make healthy meals at home. Angie also works closely with teachers at Edison and informs them of situations that can help them determine strategies when students' behaviors change due to events outside the school. She found shelter for a domestic violence victim and a homeless family with 3 children. Working at a Title I school is truly her passion and wouldn't work anywhere else. She feels there is no greater joy than knowing you make a difference in the lives of children every day. Thank you, Angie. So obviously, as you just heard, all these semifinalists for the Support Person of the Year are outstanding and worthy of this honor. All semifinalists will receive a monetary award sponsored by Hy-Vee. Let's give one more round of applause for the 3 finalists for the St. Joe School District Support Person of the Year. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please join me in congratulating the 2018-2019 St. Joe School District Support Person of the Year, Angie Hernandez. Congratulations, Angie. Heidi DeShepper said that Angie is an amazing person. She does so much behind the scenes. She ties up all the loose ends and does it so well. It's no exaggeration to say this school could not function without her. So congratulations again, Angie.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Todd Meyerhofer with Meyerhofer Funeral Home and Crematory. Our MC made me come up and introduce myself, so thank you, Ben. It's wonderful to be here this evening, and I was telling some people this evening this is my 19th year, so you'd think I'd have this memorized by now, but thank you, Lori, for preparing this for me. The Meyerhofer Innovator of the Year Award has been given since 1994 in memory of my grandparents, Suzanne and Walter Meyerhofer Jr. The purpose of this award is to encourage teachers to be creative and offer true innovative techniques in their classrooms. This award is given to a teacher or a group of teachers who have demonstrated a method, procedure, plan, or teaching tool which will improve the delivery of instructions to students in the school district. Innovators Cindy Haney and Lori Reynolds for the 2018-19 will be helping with this presentation. Ladies, if you'll come forward, if you're here. The selection committee for the Suzanne and Walter Meyerhofer Innovator of the Year Award are myself, DLO Duvall, Cindy Haney, and Lori Reynolds. Thank you all very much for your help in the selection process this year. So with this year's 3 semifinalists, please stand as I read your names. First we have Levi Evans. Levi is a 3rd grade teacher at Carden Park and implemented a design club for 6th graders based around design and 21st century occupations. Students have completed multiple projects using the Raspberry Pi, Scratch, and green screen. The innovation gave students a safe plan to have fun, learn about coding and technology, and inspire them to investigate a future career field. Thank you, Levi. Alyssa Green. Alyssa is a lead teacher at the Community Training Program at Webster Learning Center. She developed the Work Experience Program, which allows participating students to learn vital work-ready skills on-site with various employers, with the assistance of a job coach. Students submit their application and begin rigorous interview training. After the training, the students schedule an interview and were contacted if they received the position. The positions were at Coleman Cafeteria and Krenz to Computers. After 8 weeks, the students received a certificate of completion. Thank you, Alyssa. Next, we have Tori Zager and Diane Aguilar. I forgot to sneeze. I was told if I can't pronounce a name, you're supposed to sneeze. I messed that all up. Ladies, I apologize. Tori and Diane are 7th grade social study teachers at Bodie Middle School. They've used an augmented reality sandbox, which provided a topographical map projected onto the surface of sand. The map responds in real time and changes to reflect the new elevations. The sandbox opens up their imaginations about what they could actually do to create ancient cities. Students are expressing their understanding of how the geography directly affects the civilizations that it studied. Students' scores in critical thinking have improved because they can see the cause and effect of geography. Thank you. All the semifinalists are innovators and deserving of this award, and the committee had a very difficult time deciding. The recipients of the Suzanne and Walter Meyerhofer Jr. Memorial Innovator of the Year 2018 and 19. This year's Innovator of the Year goes to Alyssa Green.
Thank you very much. I feel very blessed to have this honor. So you guys all were very deserving. It sounds like all of us are innovative in our classroom, so that's awesome. This program, the Work Experience program, really wouldn't have been possible without Denise Kohlauer, Marlena Lawley, and Michelle Thomason. They all worked together to help me create this program, which was really just supposed to mimic the competitive employment process for these students, which is what they're going to be jumping into after they graduate. And this year we were allowed to, or not allowed to, but we were able to have one senior student from Lafayette work for 8 weeks, and she just grew in her confidence, and she told me she is prepared to go out into the workforce. And so I'm excited for next year. We're trying to get 9 students out into the workforce, and so I'm just excited to see where the program goes from here. So thank you.
And one last closing note, all finalists will receive a monetary award to be picked up in the program. Again, congratulations and thank you all very much.
It's true that I didn't respect Todd enough to come up here and introduce him. I was just building up Steve for this expression of gratitude to Todd and his family. If my math's right, this is the 25th year that the Meyerhofer family has funded this Innovator Award. And when you're taking a tally of local organizations and businesses that have contributed to the foundation, you have to put Meyerhofer family at or near the top of the list. So thank you, Todd. On to Teacher of the Year. The Benders Teacher of the Year. Benders is the proud supporter of the Teacher of the Year Award and has been doing so for over 2 decades. The Shonick family has owned and operated the Benders family of medical companies for over 50 years. Benders provides medical supplies, medical equipment, and home health services. Benders takes pride in being there when you need them most and are pleased to be a part of this tribute. Ryan Van Dyke, our reigning Teacher of the Year, will be helping with the presentation to the winner, so I would ask him to come forward here soon. This year, the Teacher of the Year, sorry for that jab. Teacher of the Year Selection Committee consisted of Dr. Solon Haynes, Ryan Van Dyke, Joni Owens, Dave Wing, Lavelle Rucker, Jennifer Kindle, Stacia Studer, Lynn Davis, Tina Shaganaw, and Dr. Amanda Faye Moore. The first semifinalist for the 2018-2019 St. Joseph School District Teacher of the Year is Mark Carell. Mark is an 8th grade social studies teacher at Rubidoux Middle School. He's not your typical teacher who graduated from college and went directly into the classroom. His dream was to be a professional golfer. After several meaningless jobs, I think that's his word, not mine, he decided to follow his dream in education. Mark's philosophy and beliefs about teaching look different than most teachers. He believes in 2 different mindsets. Many believe in a, quote, fixed mindset, where you're told how to think, when to act, and what to do. What Mark attempts to do in the classroom is to teach students, quote, a growth mindset. With this, students begin to learn from failures, begin to try new things, and think outside the box. This mindset encourages students to overcome deficiencies, choose tasks that stretch them, and find opportunities that will make them better. In his mind, his greatest contribution to education is organizing a Washington, D.C. trip that he has done over the last 5 years that has helped 131 St. Joseph School District students to visit Washington, D.C., with him accompanying them, and in the process has raised on his own over $90,000 to assist those students who couldn't afford it on their own. Mark's thoughts are that being in education is the most rewarding job anyone could ever have. We'll now watch your video.
My educational history is I grew up in the North Side. My wife likes to call me an avenue baby. I went to Lindbergh, Rubidoux, and Lafayette. My high school counselor at Lafayette, Miss Terry Johnson, who most educators here in St. Joe knew and absolutely love, she always reminded me that she thought I would become a great teacher. I just appreciate the fact that she trusted in me and believed in me to pursue something like that. Sometimes I don't always follow the curriculum. I think we have to go beyond that sometimes. There's stuff in a textbook that, yeah, history is important. What we're teaching them is important, but they need to understand current events. They need to understand what's going on in our community. They need to understand what's going on in our country, because my goal as a teacher is not for them to know who the presidents are or who won what war. It's for them to understand that they need to be a productive citizen in society. If I can accomplish that goal of them going out being a positive role model in our community, in our country, that's my number one goal. Many students bring in a lot of baggage into our classrooms, and once I realized that I need to start meeting them where they are versus allowing them or wanting them to be where I'm at. Early on in my career, I was expecting them to do things immediately. And now I've taken a step back and say, okay, I'm going to meet them where they are and then work with them to get them to the point where I want them to be by the end of the year. The worst time of the year is the last day of school, because I've spent the last 9 months getting to know these students, spend 7.5 hours of my day with them. Not that I'm sad, but I know next year I'm going to start all over again. These kids don't know me. I don't know them. I've got to understand what's going on in their head sometimes. And if we build that relationship and rapport with these students, they'll really bend over backwards for you. They'll work hard. They'll do what you ask. Then they show respect. In my classroom, I give lots of quizzes that are comprehensive based on my word wall. So we were talking about the 13 colonies, and we were discussing the word persecution. And immediately, since I teach middle school, a lot of kids get persecution and prosecution mixed up. And when I ask what is persecution, they say it's being arrested and tried before a judge. And I explain to them, no, that's prosecution. Persecution is being mistreated. So during our quiz, I ask on question 11, please name a word that we have where you go in front of a judge because you have been accused of a crime. We go through 1 through 10, and then we get to number 11, which was the current event. And one student raises their hand and says, Mr. Correll, they have spelled prosecution wrong. So me being curious, well, how'd they spell it? I mean, of course, this is middle school. They spell a lot of things wrong. So they start going on, Prostitution. So now I immediately start thinking that this isn't the end of it, okay? Because now I know these students are going to go home and mom or dad's going to ask, so what'd you learn in school today? And they're going to say, well, we talked in Mr. Carell's class, we talked about prostitution. So I have to inform them, no, we are not talking about this.
The second semifinalist for Teacher of the Year is Melissa Schubert. Melissa is a first grade teacher at Lake Contrary Elementary School. Her philosophy of teaching can be described through the acronym TEACH. Take care of the basic needs of students, educate the whole child to help them, achieve more than they thought possible through captivating learning experience while holding high expectations of herself and her students. With basic needs met, Melissa focuses on teaching students how to be lifelong thinkers and learners. She wants her first graders to be able to navigate anything that life may bring their way. Melissa has also incorporated the power of yet. This word can change everything. When students say they can't tie their shoes or sound out a multisyllable word, she reminds them they can't do it yet. If they're willing to try, willing to make a mistake, and willing to fail because that's part of their yet, this has been the most powerful addition to her teaching, and her passion will influence future generations. We will now watch Melissa's video.
First and foremost, it's a calling that I felt on my life even as a child. Around 7, I can remember playing school in my room every night. I would set up my stuffed animals and I'd give them work and I'd walk around and, I would mimic everything I saw my teachers doing during the day. And so I just knew from that point it's what I was called to do. I also had great teachers throughout my educational journey that showed me what good teachers look like and that they care about you as a person, but then they also teach you and have those high expectations. And then also just seeing what education can do in people's lives. I mean, education's how everything happens. It's how our world continues to develop. It's how we continue to invent things. And so it all starts with education. And I just knew that I wanted to be a part of that. I think the greatest challenges facing our students today is teaching them how to think and persevere. They are growing up in a society that is instant gratification. Everything is at their fingertips in a matter of seconds. And at the beginning of the school year, Dr. Marley Williams came and talked to our staff, and she said, we can teach kids how to Google a lot of things, but Google cannot teach them how to think. And that just really resonated with me, and I knew that that was kind of my new mission, was to teach my kids how to think, even at a first grade level. What does that look like? How do we think through problems? So I'm very intentional each day to give them those opportunities and to show them what thinking looks like, give them those chances, support them the way that they need, and then give them chances to try it on their own and to not be afraid to fail. What's unique about my style of teaching is it's a hybrid or a perfect blend of structure, but flexibility. So we have an overarching plan for our day, but we're also aware of those moments that pop up and we run with them where that authentic learning can happen. So right before spring break, this happened and we were finishing our writing time, getting ready for recess, and I received an alert that NASA was going to be launching a rocket that day. So I quickly pulled it up on my computer, put it up on the projector, and they were just amazed. We started watching. We were able to have conversations about gravity and rockets and astronauts. And it ran into our recess time and they didn't want to stop. They're like, can we please just keep doing this? So just taking those moments and running with them. Also teaching in a building where a lot of our students come from poverty. I'm a teacher who tries to bring learning to my kids. So whenever I visit places that they may never go, I bring things back from there. Over spring break, I went to New York City and to Washington, D.C., and I actually took a picture of my class with me on my trip. And so everywhere I went, the White House or the Empire State Building, I took their picture. So when we came back from spring break, I said, did you know that you traveled a lot over spring break? You went on an airplane, you went to the White House. And they were just like, no, we didn't. And so I started showing them the pictures. And so it just allowed them to connect to something, and they were going around and telling people, did you know I got to go to the White House? Did you know I got to go to the Wax Museum? And so just to see them get excited and to connect them to something that they might not ever have the opportunity to do is incredibly rewarding. And I love being able to share my learning experiences with them and help them explore things they might not ever get to do outside of that. This year in particular, I have a very funny class. So we were learning about the Wright brothers in our reading curriculum. And I said, boys and girls, think about if the Wright brothers had not kept trying, if they had not been willing to fail, we might not have airplanes today. We might not be able to fly. And one little boy, without even hesitating, said, yeah, Miss Schubert, and then they wouldn't have been the Wright brothers, they would have been the wrong brothers. And I lost it. Like, I was just laughing. The kids all started laughing, and it was just a great moment. And it was so funny to see how their minds interpret those things. So it was hilarious. It was very funny.
Our third semifinalist for Teacher of the Year is Jennifer Stammers. Jennifer is a concert choir teacher at Bodie Middle School. Actually, she never wanted to be a teacher. What she wanted to study in college was musical theater. Jennifer was convinced that she was going to be the next big star on Broadway. Her parents had other ideas. Her father envisioned his little girl standing on a street corner with a hat on the ground, singing for the spare change in people's pockets. It took 5 difficult years of being a wife, mother, and student to realize teaching was a way to share her passion. Her philosophy of teaching is, a student doesn't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Jennifer realized after her first year that teaching music wasn't about her, but it was about helping children discover who they are. She still does not make a lot of money. She averages 12 hours a day in her workday. She drives a basic car, lives in a comfortable home, but feels, because she's spreading the love of music, she is rich beyond measure. And for the record, someday she will see her students star on Broadway. We will now watch Jennifer's video.
I like to think I'm funny. My family will probably tell you that I'm not very funny, but I get my students to laugh every once in a while, and I can laugh at myself. And I think by being able to laugh at myself, and I should also add that I give myself lots of opportunities because I'm always doing really stupid, embarrassing things. I think that makes kids feel really comfortable because they know that I'm going to screw up and be the first one to laugh at myself. So they feel more comfortable about it. By putting them at ease, they're more willing to do stuff. I don't let them know that something is difficult before we start. I tell them this is something that we're going to do. You don't have a choice. They don't realize that, like when we're learning circle of fifths or key signatures and the process as to how we get to these key signatures, and they start writing their own music, they don't know it's hard because nobody's told them that it's hard. And it's not until they look back at the process and I'm able to say, I did this when I was a freshman in college, do they go, oh, okay, wow, we really kind of accomplished something. We accomplished something here. At the middle school level, I'd have to say is that you don't know what kid you're going to get on any given day. Trying to stay the same and have the same expectations when you know that kids, their emotional level is all over the map. Mr. Verbeek challenged all the fine arts staff in the St. Joe School District to come up with a 6-word, I guess a motto for lack of a better word, 6 words to guide us throughout this year. And mine is inspire excellence, laugh daily, forgive often. Inspire excellence, that works really well when they're buying into what you do. Laugh daily, I walk into the room, I trip, ha ha ha, that's great. But that forgive often is what I've really had to tell myself. Every day is a new day with a kid. Doesn't matter what happened yesterday, doesn't matter what happened 2 hours ago. Because the kid that you had 2 hours ago, when you see that kid again, it's like 2 hours ago was 2 weeks ago. I had a girl in a class that she had autism, and I love music because music you can enfold everybody in. And we were doing a song that had a little spoken solo, so I was having some auditions for all the kids. The solo line was, "Come and get it." It was a schoolhouse rock medley. Come and get it. And so it was opened up, and I thought this would be a perfect thing for her to do. So, and she was willing. So I was playing the piano, and I pointed to her, and she went as even and straight as she possibly could, "Come and get it." And so we stopped, and I said, "Okay, that was wonderful. Can you do it again, maybe a little bit more feeling?" Played. I pointed at her, "Come and get it." I said, "Okay, let's try it one more time." And I said, "Like you're calling somebody for dinner." And she kind of blinked a little bit, and I said, "You know, like you're calling your dog for dinner." And she said, "I don't have a dog." She said, "I have a cat." And I said, "Okay, like you're calling your cat for dinner." Play. I pointed at her, and she went, "Meow." I died. That was funny. Everybody laughed, and she was so proud of herself. And that's exactly how you would call a cat to dinner. Meow. There it is.
Our 4th semifinalist for Teacher of the Year, is Ryan Stobaugh. Ryan teaches Project Lead the Way Introduction and Principles of Engineering at Central High School. He feels it is his job to foster a welcoming environment that promotes innovation. He tries to develop empathy among his students to show that there are rules to follow and jobs to be done. He makes each student feel like they're an important part and gear in the machine, encourages and allows them to be depended upon by others. Dependability and accountability can help to demonstrate their own value and self-worth and help them to develop confidence in that tricky gray area. Ryan also loves to learn something new. He feels that if you stop learning, you forfeit your ability to be an effective teacher. When he considers who meant the most to him along the path, those who stand out have one thing in common. They were authentic. They weren't fantastic every second, but were very real, very human. They had a genuine spark for what they were doing. It stuck with him as he pondered his career. They do something that they love. That is what he wanted to pursue, and he has that spark. We will now watch Ryan's video.
My philosophy towards education is I want every student to leave my class prepared for either college or some other form of post-secondary education, or even possibly employment in some cases. I want to make sure every student is prepared when they walk out that door, they have the tools they need to be a successful, productive person in either realm, either immediate work or post-secondary education. My career in teaching, I decided to pursue that when I was in college. I was coaching a lot of youth sports at the time. And one of the assistants with me on one of those teams was a college professor at Missouri Western where I was at. And he said, have you ever thought about education? And at that point in time I had, and I was almost done with a mechanical engineering degree at the time at Missouri Western. And it was just a few short classes, more of the educational sequence, and that's where I decided that that's what I wanted to pursue, because I really liked working with the younger kids, with the adolescent kids. It was a fun time for me. It was good to show them different things that they could do, even in the sports arena, and hopefully that did translate over to the academic area. The greatest challenge facing students, every student has a unique challenge when they walk through your door. You have to learn to adjust to those challenges. It may not be within the building, it may be something that's happening outside the building that student's encountering. If you don't learn to adjust those challenges, like I said, every student's unique. It could be financial, socioeconomic, it could be anything challenging to that student. It may be the work they're doing in class is a challenge to them. You have to learn to adjust to do that, to accommodate those challenges so every student can learn. The style of teaching we use is technology-based in my area. Every student understands technology to a degree. It's unique because now they're using that technology for a practical purpose, more so than just playing on their cell phone or playing on a tablet or using a computer at home. They're now using that technology for constructive purposes to create something with, to design something with. With the student being able to use the technology for that purpose, it makes teaching our design classes very easy, our applied physics courses through PLTW very easy. They understand the technology when they see it. They know that they're comfortable with it, they're familiar with it, they're going to understand it a little bit better than they did before they came in the door. The greatest aha moment for me as a teacher, and every teacher should experience this their first year, but I know they can't because of what I'm about to say, but they should have that student come back and visit them that says, what you did influenced my decision to be what I am now. I had that opportunity about 2 weeks ago. A student I saw at a local store, he caught me now. He goes, Mr. Stobaugh, I've now graduated from Rolla. I'm a metallurgical engineer, which was really cool to me because that's a very tough degree to pursue. And he said because of what he learned in my class is what made him pursue that opportunity out there for him. The biggest challenges we face in the classrooms is student accountability. I think it's got to be a focus at some point to make the student more accountable. So when they graduate, they go on to college, they'll become hopefully better citizens, better mothers, fathers, whatever, husbands, wives, make them more accountable for their own actions as opposed to not being accountable for it. There's a lot of funny moments, but one of them stands out particularly. We were doing engineering calculations on a dry whiteboard in the room. And as I was going through these calculations, I thought what I had was an overhead pen in my hand, and it was actually the Sharpie. So we're just doing calculations with an actual Sharpie on the dry whiteboard, which doesn't always work out well for you. And I didn't think any of the students had noticed it, so we just kept doing the calculations, kept going. And at one point, one of the students says, Mr. Stobaugh, that's a Sharpie in your hand, not the overhead pen you thought you were using. Just kept working. Needless to say, there was about an hour or two worth of scrubbing after that to get it clean, which it did come clean, but
it was a very embarrassing for me as a teacher, because I thought, wow, here I am, the teacher. I'm supposed to know the difference between a dry white marker and a Sharpie. So that was probably the most fun moment.
At this time, I would like to invite Shelley Shonick to the podium for the announcement of the St. Joseph School District's Teacher of the Year, and also to thank her family for over 20 years of sponsoring this award. So it's another local company that's been a stalwart for the foundation. Thank you, Shelley.
We have really been honored over 20 years to sponsor this. We really love what we do, and it's so nice. It makes us proud to honor people that love what they do too. So it really fits in with what we believe our mission is at Bender's. With that being said, I'd like to introduce to you the St. Joseph Teacher of the Year, Mark Carell. Mark said that Terry Johnson at Lafayette inspired him the most. Her motivation inspired him to believe in himself and pursue his career, but most of all, she believed in him. It was then that he knew he could influence the lives of others through education. Mark began his coursework here at Missouri Western. One of his favorite professors, Dr. Stephen Griart, with his energetic lessons, storytelling, and rigorous assignments, taught him that easy is not what makes you successful. He said that he held him accountable and expected the best out of him. When Dr. Griart finished grading his assignments, they resembled a scene from a horror movie. Blood, red everywhere because of all the errors. Mark still refuses to use the word redundant because of his analysis of his work. Dr. Griart is the reason Mark is the teacher he is today. Congratulations.
I am overly humbled. I hear some giggles over there because they just saw a piece of paper come out of my coat. Thank you very much. I'm extremely humbled to be here. As the program was going on, I was going through the list of the past Teacher of the Years, and I counted up 6 of them I had in class. I'm a true believer that those who you hang around, they start to rub off on you, and because of their greatness, I'm able to be here today. So just a few thank yous, and I promise it'll be short. I'd like to thank Bender's Home Care, the School District Foundation, all the other Teacher of the Year finalists. I promise you, you are great, as many other teachers in the school district are. The Teacher of the Year Selection Committee, I'd like to thank you as well. My wife Julie and Jake, they are the ones who allow me to love my job and love my students. Mr. Weiss, Ms. Schilling, you allow me, as you saw in the video, that sometimes I don't follow the curriculum, and they usually don't say too much, and I appreciate you and our Rubidoux staff. Thank you very much. I'd like to thank just a few others, my first mentors during my first year, Precious Kurth, who is my principal, Lisa Elfritz, and the one that I'll talk about more here in a second, Marta Sansone. Special thanks also to Robin Ogdell, who puts up with a lot in the hall from me, and Coach Pettigrew as well, because on the basketball court, I did not get a technical in my years with you. Note that. Okay, now the big ones. If I get emotional, I apologize. This award could not be possible without Marta Sansone and Doug Schneck. These two individuals are part of the social studies team at Rubidoux, and it is because of them I'm able to stand here today. They support me 100%. They tell me when I'm wrong, which is quite often. We can accomplish anything. Yes, we are. Would also like to thank, there was, I believe, an error by Mr. Byrd when he made the comment that I alone have raised $90,000 for the DC trip. That is not true. I don't do any of this stuff. I don't raise any of the money. It's all the students. I organize the events, and the students go out and they work their tail off. I know one of them sitting right over there, and she worked her butt off. Two of them, one from last year as well. I had many students get their entire trip paid for. So it's with their determination that makes this trip successful. And then the last thing, I'd be foolish to believe that this is an accomplishment of my own. I give that credit to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Thank you very much.
Real quick, just want to congratulate all the winners and all the nominees, and would remind everybody that all the semifinalists and winners can come up front to get your written rewards, and some of you are receiving monetary gifts, and you're welcome to have pictures taken, so feel free to mingle and hang out for a while. In closing, I would just encourage everyone to do all they can to prop up the district. That's what we as the foundation do, so in my personal opinion, now is the time to move forward, and let's support the district as much as we can. So thank you for a fun evening, and we look forward to seeing you again next year.